Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at Shadow Luxray in the Open Ultra League. This time around we're going to take a look at two different teams with this Pokemon. Here, as you see, already a ton of damage coming out from this Pokemon. It's going to be the Shadow variant. Both we're going to take a look at one team with it as a lead, as you're going to see here already, but also a completely different team as a closer. So you have to stick around to see which team is going to be better on this Pokemon, as they're going to have the easiest win of our life in the first game here. We're going to take a look now into the second game. We're going to have a very decent lead for us again, but this team kind of lacks as an answer here for the Ampharos, because Ampharos is going to be a little bit tricky for you to deal with this team, as this Pokemon going to be able to still do a ton of damage against us as well. You look at the Brutal Swing here, does a ton of damage, and I actually didn't expect that they would get to another charge move that fast, so I am definitely a little bit behind here already in this next game. Let's take a look at this. We're going to see the Psychic Fangs coming through, and we're going to get the debuff onto the opponent's defense, as we're going to now swap into our Cresselia, which of course gets super effective hits from the Brutal Swing, but we're going to be able to outspeed them for the Grass Knot here right now, which is going to be pretty decent for us. And now we're going to see what they're going to have in the back. It's going to be again the Warren coming in here, so they might be a little bit weak against something like a Cresselia in the back, which is a valuable information here. So they might be even weak against our Tapu Fini as well, if they're, for example, a fighter, because both Fairy as well as the Psychic typing is of course very decent against fighting type Pokemon. But we will find out shortly, as they're going to be able to hit this next upcoming Grass Knot against the opponent. We can swap out immediately into our Tapu Fini, and it's going to be a fighter. I didn't actually know that, but based on like how people act, you can kind of predict on what they're going to have in the back, and that's kind of working out here pretty well. As you're going to see now the Toxic Croak. For me, the easiest play here is to shield this move up. If it's a Sludge Bomb, we would get just one-shotted, and we should be able to outspeed them for the Surf, and this is exactly what we're going to be able to do here, and this is going to nearly knock them out, and we will be able to just farm them all the way down here, getting the Warren in, and they're going to forfeit this game. Let's take a look at the next game coming up. We're going to see the Luxray against the Registeel in the lead. This is going to be also an interesting one. Is Luxray going to do a ton of damage against Registeels as well? As this Vulture is coming through here right now, we're going to see the opponent now taking a ton of damage against this one. If you don't know how to really deal with Registeel in this team here, you kind of have to get it out onto the Luxray for sure. But also you're going to use the Say-Swap usually of the Tapu Fini here, which is going to be able to just go ahead and go for some surf damage, which is also pretty valuable. As we're going to see the opponent going for a Focus Blast here, we have to basically now go for another Wild Charge just before they get to another charge move here, as this is going to knock them out, and they're going to let this move go through as well, and they're going to go ahead and go into a Toxic Croak. I have no idea why I didn't go for the Psychic Fangs here, by the way. I just panicked and I went for the usually harder hitting move, but Psychic Fangs of course would have been double super effective. But in comes now the Jellicent here, and what we're going to try to do here is, of course, you're going to go ahead and go directly into our Tapu Fini, which now should be able to reach that Moonblast in time, and we're still going to have now our Cresselia around for the Toxic Croak in the back. Toxic Croak is definitely a little bit more common in the meta right now. And we're going to see now the incoming charge from the opponent going to be the Shadow Ball. We just barely survived with 1 HP there basically, and we can go ahead and go for the Moonblast to knock out the opponent. In comes the Toxic Croak, and we can now retaliate with our Cresselia. As you're going to see, the opponent gonna go ahead and go for a charge move, going to be the Mud Bomb. I don't know why they didn't go for the Sludge Bomb, maybe they run Dynamic Punch or something. But it doesn't really matter, because he can just go ahead and go for the Moonblast and nearly knock them out here, and just a farm down going to be enough to win us this game. Let's take a look at the next game here. We're going to see the opponent having the Luxray against a Galvantula. This is not really ideal for us, but we should be able to still maybe deal with it, as Psychic Fang is going to be pretty spammy against the opponent, as they're gonna go ahead and actually shield this first move up here, which is pretty nice for us, as they're gonna go ahead and go for the lunge, which doesn't matter because I debuff the opponent's defenses while the opponent is taking, yeah, basically our attack there with the lunge. So we're basically debuffing each other, or like, yeah, on different sides. I debuff the opponent's defense, they debuff my attack. So here I should have swapped out earlier. I should have swapped out immediately basically into my Tapu Fini, because we're double debuffed here, or like, yeah, oh yeah, we're double debuffed here against us, so like this is going to be not really doing too much damage, and it doesn't really help us too much either. So like it would have been the better play to just keep the energy, swap out, have the Tapu Fini dealing with the opponent's Sandslash here. But sadly I didn't do that, and now I'm forced to still go for another charge move here, because they would have got to another Drill Run in time. Drill Run is, I think, 6, 6, and 5 in terms of the fast moves, and we're going to see now the opponent having the Tentacruel in the back. Again, I feel like if I played this better, I would have been definitely better off here as well. But I'm still going to be able to at least get to another charge move here against the opponent, which is going to be the Psychic Fangs. I can swap out here right now. And I'm going to get a ton of energy. And this is going to be pretty crucial here because you're going to see the opponent going for one Acid Spray. I will be able to now outspeed the opponent's Galvantula here to the next charge move, which will allow us to go for one Moonblast here. And we're going to now see the opponent's Tentacruel coming back in. We should be able to still survive one charge move here, but we have to try to catch the Scald next time around onto our what's called Luxray there, because our Luxray will not get to another charge move. So can we swap out in time? We cannot, because we're going to now have a CMP tie, which we're going to lose. And honestly, I could have went for one more fast move against the Galvantula, and I would have been able to still win this game here right now, which is kind of wild. Because the Galvantula, I basically threw it like, I could have went for one more extra fast move. I didn't get the damage of the Volt Switch in with that, but I would have been able to definitely win this game if I just went for one more fast move against the Galvantula. But yeah, this is going to be now the final game here with this team, and then we're going to swap over to the other team as far as I know at least, because now we're going to see the Moonblast coming through against us as we can see the matchup against other Cresselia. Gonna be able to go ahead and go for the bait first, which is going to be super nice because they're going to shield this move up and we can catch the charge move from the opponent. Let's take a look what's coming in here. We're going to see now the opponent having a Registeel in the bag. Not really ideal for us, all the people with their XL Pokemon here. I see why a lot of people don't really enjoy this Ultra League meta right now, but basically, honestly, actually, question for today, if you want to answer that as well. What's your opinion on the XL system? Like, I see like both sides kinda, like here, well, we have this very, very exciting matchup right now, but I see like both sides kinda that both, like, it's cool to have something more to grind for, and I think it's cool to have like something really more exciting or like more difficult to get to in general in the game, but I feel like for PvP it just makes it all way more bulky and a little bit lamer. So let me know in the comment section what you think about the XL system. Do you like this? Do you don't like the XL system? I'm curious because I kind of want to make like a poll about it, but then I was like kind of hesitating. But here we're going to at least see the Cobalion gonna get destroyed by that wild charge damage, and we can now go ahead and go into our Tapu Fini, and we see the Stone Edge coming through, and we will be able to now go ahead and try to farm them all the way down. But actually, I'm going to be able to go for another charge move. They still should be able to go for their own shield, and I will be able to now go ahead and let this move go through here. It's going to be the Stone Edge, and I should be able to now at least have a pretty decent time. We see the opponent's Cresselia coming in. I have to go for the Surf. This doesn't knock them out, but I have a move stall on my Cresselia, so can we actually still win this game? The Grass Knot is coming through, going to knock out the opponent's Cresselia here right now, and in comes now still the Registeel, and they have a few HP left here right now, and they get the full farm down, and like this, they're going to sadly lose this game because they were able to farm down my Cresselia, but very well played by the opponent. And now we can go ahead and go into the new team, which is going to start off with a pretty iffy matchup. We're going to have the Ampharos against the Trevenant, which is usually you think, okay, it's a grass type against electric type, that should be fine. But because of the new step, or like not step, but the new coverage there of Brutal Swing, it's going to be a little bit tricky. But we also have our own Ampharos here, so we can swap around into that one. And just because they could have the Focus Blast, just like we have here right now, I'm going to shield up the move, but sadly it's just going to be the Brutal Swing, which now they're going to catch my Brutal Swing onto their Cresselia, which I'm fine with because it does super effective damage anyway. And we're going to be able to force a shield from the opponent as well, or get the knockout against them, which either of them I'm totally okay with, as they're going to go ahead and go for another charge move here. Going to be the Grass Knot. I can go for one more fast move and then go ahead, or I actually can go for two more and then go ahead and go for the Brutal Swing. Let's see if they want to let this move go through, or let they, yeah, okay, they're going to let this move go through. I'm going to see the Ampharos coming in here right now, and we can go for another Brutal Swing, and we can get the next knockout. And now we're going to see the Charizard coming in. There's going to be game. There is the opponent going to forfeit. Next opponent, you're going to have a Swampert in the lead. And this is looking really, really nice for us right now. Honestly, this team was the first team that I really wanted to use, and then I thought, Wild Shot in the lead might be pretty decent to just have that and then dip into a pretty bulky Save Swap. But honestly, I enjoyed this team here way more than the first one. I enjoyed the one where I had the Luxray as a closer way more. But also, I have to say, I got the way better matchups. Here, for example, we're going to see now the Focus Blast landing against the Registeel. Boom, goodbye there. And you're going to see again, of course, the Swampert coming in. I think I encountered like 2 or 3 Swampert leads in total. And in general, way better leads for this team compared to the other team. So we're going to see that here anyway. But this is like the thing that you also kind of have to keep in mind when you play or like build a team in your Battle League. Like, where are your losses are coming from and where are your wins coming from? Because a team can be very decent on paper and a team can be also generally very decent, but you can have just this bad day where you're going to encounter all the Pokemon that hard counter you, which just happens. But yeah, you kind of have to just keep it in mind and just like look at the data and see, okay, why do I lose this one? Why do I win this one? Because it's kind of important to see like that. Yeah, I actually nearly screwed it up. I actually wanted to no shield here, and they actually go for the Earthquake, which is going to win me the game here because now they're going to forfeit. But still, that was a wild one because I was super close to not shielding this move. Next opponent, we're going to have here now a Giratina in the lead. Finally, we don't have a lead that's going to be very decent for us. We have a lead that's going to be probably difficult to deal with for our team. But we're still going to be okay here, as you're going to see the opponent going for one charge move, Dragon Claw coming through, and we will see now that I can swap out into my own Ampharos. Going to be able to take this move because we're a little bit bulkier here, and we can now see the opponent's Swampert coming in here. Of course, they're going to go straight for a charge move. I would have been able to go for a Focus Blast otherwise, but like this, we're going to still be able to align our good friend Trevenant against the opponent. But it's going to be still a tough one to come back from this one, as you're going to see the opponent letting this move go through, and of course the Giratina going to be a very difficult Pokemon to now win against, as we're going to try to go for the Shadow Ball here. But honestly, it's not really looking too good. As you're going to see here, the opponent going to actually let this move go through, and we're going to see the Cobalion coming in. This is weird. I'm going to keep my charge move there alive, and I'm just going to try to go ahead and go for the Psychic Fangs and hope that the opponent going to shield this one. And let's take a look at this. We can go for one Psychic Fangs here right now. Please shield this, please shield this. And they do shield this, and we're gonna get the defense drop there, which is going to be so nice. As we even reach another one while they try to farm me down. But this is not the player opponent, because we can still go ahead and go for the big Shadow Ball here and win this game. Thanks to the debuffs there, thanks to the extra damage of Psychic Fangs, this was a very nice game to still win. But again, as said before, this team had a lot of great matchups. Here we're going to see a Registeel coming in. Honestly, this is going to be a little bit interesting here. You can do two things. Here, just go for the Shadow Ball and get the shield, which is actually really nice for me. Which I'm going to just take here, the shield advantage. But you can also just farm up extra here and then swap out without like really throwing anything. But here I went for the Shadow Ball, which got the shield, which is really nice to see. Then you go for another Zapkin here. You can still survive a Focus Blast with your Ampharos. You get like, I think around like 67% damage onto you. I looked it up at the same time as well. So like it's not going to knock you out quite, but it's going to put you somewhere around like red health with the extra lock on damage. But we try to go for another Focus Blast here. Sadly, the opponent doesn't allow us to do that. But we're going to see now that we can go back into our Trevenant. We have a shield advantage, we have switch advantage, we have a Luxray in the back that just appreciates the Psychic Fangs coverage here against this Galarian Weezing. This should be game already, because you can just go ahead and realign our Pokemon if I want to. I can just go ahead and shield this move up if it's like, I don't know, like overheat or whatever, we still should be fine here. And even this is going to be way too fast, so it's going to be a brutal swing anyway. And we're going to look pretty damn decent here, I feel like, as I can go ahead and go for a charge move here. That's going to do some pretty decent damage. And it's going to actually get the shield from the opponent as they go for their own charge move. I can let this move go through, try to farm the opponent down here. And we're going to see now the opponent swapping out into the Swampert. This should be enough damage to knock them out, I feel like, as the Seed Bomb is going to knock them out here pretty easily. In comes now the Weezing, and they go into forfeit again. Let's take a look at the next team. You're going to see Trevenant against the Cresselia. As said before, I feel like Trevenant just got a lot of really good matchups here. We're gonna go ahead and go into Ampharos, which can take a move a little bit easier. But we see the Surf coming through here. I'm misplaying a little bit. I should have thrown earlier maybe, but honestly, Brutal Swing wouldn't do enough damage here anyway. So using a shield here is totally okay in my opinion. Yes, we are shield down, but we're gonna still have an Ampharos with a ton of energy here. As you're going to see the opponent coming in with, let's take a look at this, we're going to see the Cresselia coming in. And of course, like this, we're going to get a ton of damage against the opponent's Cresselia as well. We are not in a range where the opponent can farm me down, like not even close. So we are in a pretty decent spot here, as we basically only have one Pokemon left for the opponent. We know that the Cresselia doesn't really have anything to do here. They go even for the Moonblast, and we're going to see now this Scrafty coming in. And this is of course a nightmare. Like honestly, this is exactly what I didn't want to face here, but we're gonna see the Power Punch coming through. I just have to bait at this point of time. I just have to hope that they're going to shield this move up here. That I get the shields down, but no, they call the bait, and at this point of time, this game is basically game over. And this can now, of course, if you bait, it's fine. If you don't bait, like, it really depends on what the opponent does here. It's a 50-50 chance. We're gonna get the shield here, of course, but it is just not really looking too good for us right now. They can just go ahead and go for 2 foul plays, and this is going to be game. But let's take a look at this. We're going to now try to shield this move up. Maybe they're going to bait me. That would be definitely beneficial for them, but they don't. And they just swap instantly into Cresselia. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why they just swapped instantly into that Pokemon. I know that they don't have enough energy for the foul play yet, so I can just build up to 2 seed bombs here, throw them back to back, and I'm just going to be able to win this game with that one. So this is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the 2 teams that are built around the Luxray, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. 2 videos on the screen right now, check them out, and bye!